Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024. Welcome back to Operation Freedom, folks. I'm Dr. Dave Janda, broadcasting from our ancillary bunker, linked to our main freedom bunker in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. We're here every Sunday for you from 2 to 5 Eastern, available 24/7 at davejanda.com. You know, the World Economic Forum is having their annual Globalist cult powwow in Davos, Switzerland, the mid part of January. More on that in shows to come. I've already done a preview section for our subscribers who are subscribed to our premium service content at davejanda.com. But I want to touch on a couple things here today, and in particular with my next guest, Daniel Brigman, who is one of the best contacts you could ever have in the storable food and storable water and supply chain realm of content. I bring this up because they recently, under the door, released their agenda for their meeting. Now remember, out of this meeting every year that occurs in Davos, Switzerland, we have gotten such freedom-stripping agenda items as the Build Back Better plan, the Great Reset, the ESG programs. One of the topics that is on their agenda that I've gotten a hold of is called the following: addressing the current energy and food crisis, which they created, by the way, in the context of a new system for energy, climate, and nature. Essentially, Jordan Schachtel said, the translation of that is the World Economic Forum and the globalist cults, the cult members and their puppets, essentially want you to eat bugs, want you to eat crickets, want you to be hungry, and in fact, if you starve, well, so be it. And that's why my next guest, Daniel Brigman, is so important for you to hear from. For those of you not familiar with Dan is the founder of the best food storage, water storage company on the planet, Numanna.com, Numanna.com. He saw what was coming, and much to the chagrin of the globalist cult puppets, he has put you ahead of the curve with his company and the products they produce, which I believe are the best products for storable food and storable water on the planet. My research on this, they are tested, they are certified by an organization. I'll ask Dan about this. His organic pack is certified by the strictest standards you can ever have, that through CCOF. We'll talk to Dan about that. In addition to running this great company and providing products for you that put you far ahead of the curve, Dan is a great author, wrote a book that every single person in our country, especially with what's been going on, should read. Forever 1776. Forever1776.com. It's my honor to welcome back to our platform our friend, Freedom's friend, your friend, Daniel Briggman. Dan, welcome back to the Operation Freedom show and platform.
So good to be with you, Dave. Shout out to the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. They're probably still giddy from that amazing goal victory over Ohio State, I would imagine.
Well, we are, and then we had another one with the Big Ten Championship, so we're looking forward this year to what happens in the playoffs. Dan, I outlined to you, and for our listeners, this World Economic Forum that's going to be occurring in mid-January, where they bring all their globalist cult puppets into Davos and they give them their marching orders. And it actually raised the hair on my neck when I saw, here we go again, they're targeting the food industry, the supply chain issues, and the like. Dan, when you hear that, educate our listeners in your take. Maybe my take is wrong when I look at this agenda. What's your take?
Well, we've been talking about this for a while. I mentioned Michigan just to give people a smile for a second because I knew we were going to talk about this. This is a very heavy subject. And if you study this at all, as you have, your show has been very good about detailing this over the last, several years. There's been a systematic plan. If you're watching this, if you were going to back it up from 40,000 feet and just watch this, the World Economic Forum, the Davos Group, Bilderberg, some of those groups, they've generally told you what the last 3 years were going to look like. Now they're talking about the food, as you mentioned, the food crisis, the food shortage. When you go to the grocery store, I've said this over and over on your show, and it bears repeating. From my perspective, when you go to the grocery store, the average American, you just see the tip of the iceberg. Below that is the 90% of what goes on with the food supply, what goes on to give you food security and what that means. And all you see is the tip. And below that iceberg is getting really thin. The supply chain is getting really thin. I used a rubber band as an analogy before. The rubber band is stretching. The rubber band is fraying. And they know this, and they're commenting on this. And this is not just me talking. This is some of the most powerful, influential, insert the word here, devious people on the planet. These organizations are saying the exact same thing. And as we've seen the last 2 or 3 years, do not assume that I can go to the grocery store and toilet paper will be there, meat will be there, or what have you. Insert here. The pressure on fertilizer, the pressure of the Russia conflict between Ukraine, what that has meant, is coming to fruition even more. And 2023 is going to be the year where you're going to really see what it means, where farmers did not plant crops because the cost of fertilizer or their ability to get fertilizer was so damaged. So that it's usually a season before you even see that. They know this. I know this from my perspective. Many plants, many food processing plants have already gone under or limited capacity. So what I tell everybody, the cost of food, the production of food, and the supply of food, all three of those extremely key components to the food supply are all trending against you. Mm-hmm. And what the World Economic Forum is telling you is, yes, that's true. In fact, we need to have a new system to deal with this. And you can argue, well, they're creating the problem to create the new solution. That would be my observation, but that's irrelevant. My opinion about this, your opinion, Dave's, your opinion, is irrelevant. This is happening. So something has either got to change or we got to take some action here.
Well, and in fact, we just celebrated the Thanksgiving holiday recently, and this came out afterwards from Christina Lally. And this is not incompetence, Dan. Many people say, well, this is just incompetence that this would be the case in America. But no. I believe this is actually willful and is actually part of what the World Economic Forum threw on the table of their agenda item as it relates to food security around the world and in the United States in their last meeting. And now they're upping the ante, as we know from their agenda item this year that I just presented. But here is something that came out after Thanksgiving. Joe Biden's America. 1 in 4 Americans skipped Thanksgiving due to high food costs, some opting for pizza instead of turkey.
This is, again, I keep using iceberg, tip of the iceberg. These statistics, and there's many more that you can look at, and I'm telling you as straightforward as I can tell you, these trends on food are running against us. And your way of life and what you think is normal and what America has accepted as normal is being challenged, and we've only seen the beginning. And so I don't know how, I don't want to scream. I don't want, you know what I mean? I mean, this is real.
Yeah.
And where this goes from here is really hard to determine, but these factors are in the soup right now.
And Dan, one of the reasons why I embraced your product line and Numanna is because the quality of the product. Educate our listeners. In your introduction, I mentioned that you are, and not all storable food products from various companies are the same. For example, I mentioned in your introduction that you have different types of packs, and one of which is the organic pack, and this is certified by CCOF. Educate our listeners on what that means and the significance of that.
Well, people can have they can run their mouth and they can talk, right? Or they can disparage or they can do whatever. The fact's the facts. And when it comes down to brass tacks, the organic pack was a dream that we had when we started, over a decade ago, the man started. We had a dream that we wanted to go to a higher level to have organic certified long-term storable foods meals, just like our other meals, our GMO-free meals that we had in the family pack. We were told we were crazy. We were told you'll never have a market for it, and you won't even be able to do it. So despite that, we pressed forward, and we did accomplish it. And when you go to get certified USDA organic, there's many different ways you can get certified, many different several. Many is probably too strong a word, but there are several outfits out there that will help you certify in several different ways to certify. We wanted the best. Now, people can argue back and forth who's the best. I can say with quite confidence exactly what it says on their website, ccof.org. They are second to none. CCOF certification from seed to soil to packaging to your table. They're almost overdo it, honestly, on the way they surveil this, the way they prove this, and the certification and what it means in the end. And so we're very proud of the Organic Family Pack. We absolutely stand behind it, and our certification is second to none in this industry, bar none. And the testing, pesticides, heavy metals, and the like. So we're very proud of that bucket. So that's that little part.
Well, in fact, Dan, this could be one of the reasons why, for example, you're targeted. One of the reasons why we're targeted, because in the information world, I believe, obviously I'm biased, but I believe we present the best information far ahead of the curve. And the syndicate players, the globalist cult syndicate, the New World Order, or whatever you want to call it, they don't like that. And when they don't like that, they attack the source. So they attack us, DaveJanda.com, Operation Freedom. They attack you, Numanna, because you're providing the best product at the most cost-effective price to undermine their efforts at keeping people hungry in your case. And in our case, they want to starve people from the truth, from the information, the facts, the data, the science. Am I off?
Well, I'll go even further. You just said starve people from the truth. It's not only our company and the product we present. I think I would go deeper. Think about your show and the information you present. Okay, who's one of the sponsors of your show? We are. Mm-hmm. So we sponsor other shows. So there's other shows out there that we sponsor, and who goes on the shows and speaks their mind and tells people as honestly and as fairly as I can? I do. What other company does that?
No.
I mean, what other company, the founder of the company, goes on air and says the things I say and is direct with the audience and the radio show? Who does that? I was told very early, as we began to grow Numanna, I was told, look, you need to calm down and not say some of these things. I was told that years ago. And not even from a scaring the syndicate, just from a business standpoint, the head of a company, the founder of Numanna, can't be out there saying these controversial things. I said, look, I really don't care. People are going to buy it or not buy it. If that offends them, then so be it. I'm going to try to be as honest and as fair with the people as possible. And so what you're doing, what I'm doing, what Numanna does, what Numanna represents, is really a danger. It's a threat. And when you support Dave, you support us, you're supporting the opportunity to even have these type of broadcasts, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's quite dramatic. And when you see it and understand it, you have to support companies like ours, shows like Dave's. You have to, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, and Dan, when you start looking across the social media platforms, I have said for years, whether it's Twitter or YouTube or Facebook or whatever it might be, the freedom message is being censored. And many people said, that's conspiracy theory. That's some mixed with some paranoia. Well, now we have this. The Louisiana Attorney General, and one of the topics, actually, I've monitored this over the years when we do certain issues. They love to censor when I present your information and have you on this platform. We don't censor it through Wham Talk 1600 or our podcasts, which are available at davejana.com. But when it comes to taking our segments and putting portions of them or all of them up on YouTube or in Twitter in the past when we were still there, or Facebook, they get deep sixed. By that I mean no notifications go out from those platforms. People don't know that they're there. They manipulate view counts, right? So this came out. The Attorney General of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, just deposed, under oath, an FBI agent, Elvis Chan. Here's what Landry says, the Attorney General of Louisiana. FBI agent Elvis Chan revealed that the FBI, our own government, which I've told people for years is going on. Oh, that's conspiracy theory. FBI played a big role in working with social media companies to censor speech. They did this through government employees, such as through the FBI, meeting weekly with social media companies and asked specifically for accounts and content to be taken down. Chan stated that the FBI regularly sent social media companies URLs and accounts that should in fact be taken down. Dan, they don't want this message of food security. This is just one of them. There's election issues. There's the COVID bioweapon issue. There's their jab-related bioweapon issue. But Dan, they don't want issues as it relates to food and security presented because it makes people more vulnerable to the globalist cult's agenda of starvation.
Of all the things I've said on air, and I used to have a daily radio show. Of all the things I said, one of the things that I get attacked and I know how this works, ladies and gentlemen. Dave understands how this works. One of the reasons we're attacked is because of what we're saying, and one of the most important key things that I've been warning people about. Go back and look 3-4 years on this show. I told you meat was going to go up. I told you that certain things would fluctuate, even their availability in the store. I told you about the shortages of fertilizer. I told you all these things because I saw them beforehand.
Yep.
They do not want this conglomerate, this syndicate, this anti-American, whatever you want to call it, cabal. Mm-hmm. They do not want you to understand the pressure that's being put on your food supply. Mm-hmm. And I've tried the best I can to give you a glimpse of it, as fairly as I can to do this. The fact that the government, the United States government, against the First Amendment gives you the right to basically say whatever you want. Pretty much you can say whatever you want. And that's key because of your natural endowment from your creator, that you be able to express yourself. And now the government wants to silence people who are warning, silence information that goes against them, silence things that might be detrimental to their agenda. The danger of that is monumental. Monumental, ladies and gentlemen.
And then we have this, Dan, from Henry Kissinger. I've said this quote before, but it bears repeating in light of our conversation. Quote, "Who controls the food supply controls the people." And that's what this is all about.
Ladies and gentlemen, you imagine that you couldn't go to Walmart or a grocery store, wherever you are, and you couldn't get food for a week. Imagine what that looks like, just a week. Then imagine for 2 weeks, imagine a month. Imagine that, hey, for the next month, I can only get half of what I usually buy. Imagine what that looks like. And I don't want to forecast doom. I'm not trying to be a doomsayer. But that is literally on the table with everything we're looking at. That possibility. I promise you. I'm not trying to say it's going to happen. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm saying I've told you what I see. And so unless something changes, unless something looks different, and it could, it's possible, then you're going to be facing this. You're going to be facing these type of scenarios in the next, 12, 18 months. You're going to face them. And then what does that mean to you, and what are you going to do? This is reality. I don't know how to make it any clearer, Dave.
Dan, in our last 3 minutes, educate our listeners on Numanna, and I know you have some specials for the holidays and the like. Educate our listeners.
Well, your audience has always been fantastic. We love your show. We love our relationship with you. You're a friend of mine personally on top of that. We have some specials for your audience. Now, remember the code JANDA, Janda. So at checkout, you'll see a place for a coupon code. So when you go to buy these things, you got to put this code in. So if you want a bucket of meat, we got extra buckets of meat. If you buy 2, you get 1 free. So what you do is you buy 2, put in your cart, excuse me, then you put in the code JANDA, and then we'll automatically send you the extra one. Now, if you buy a family pack, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. If you buy an organic family pack, also 20% off and free shipping up to 6 of either one of those. You can buy up to 6 with that discount. Use the code JANDA, Janda, JANDA. It says at checkout, you'll see a coupon, place for a coupon code. So 20% off family pack with free shipping, 20% off organic family pack. You can buy 1 or you can buy 6. You buy 2 meats, you get 1 free. And that'll be automatic shipped to you. 3 will be shipped to you instead of 2. Use the code JANDA. And it can't be used with any other coupons, and frankly, you're not going to want to. This is a great offer for Christmas, for the holidays. Give the gift of security. Give a no-lose investment. Hey, it's very thoughtful to give somebody something like this.
It's actually, and this is not an overstatement, it's really a gift about life, right?
Yes.
It prevents people from starving from a nutritional standpoint, if you will, and if you will, a dent against a hit against the globalist cult and their agenda. But it also opens up avenues of discussion for whomever you give it to.
And believe me, they will be touched if you say, look, hey, this is just for an emergency, just in case something happens. I promise you people are already thinking this. And you said at the beginning about bugs.
Yeah.
They want you to eat bugs. Go look at the video by Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
They want you to eat bugs, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know what more I need to say.
Dan, educate our listeners in how they can get in touch with you, how they can get in touch with Numanna, how they can take advantage of these specials that you've been very generous about.
Numanna.com, Numanna.com, or 888-597-0775, 888-597-0775.
Dan, I'd like to thank you and everyone at Numanna for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. I'd like to thank you folks for joining us. Until next week, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for joining us today.